Um, Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Johnson Owoye, and I really want to appreciate this privilege to to participate in this particular session today. And thank you very much, Mr. Paul, and the whole team of Max-Migold for bringing me in to speak with the master students. So, a brief background about myself. So, I'm the co-founder and the CEO of CSEF Solutions. So, CSEF Solutions is actually an indigenous software development company in Nigeria. And so we don't just develop any software. Our software is actually focused more on facilities management, right? So basically, we build solutions or technology solutions basically for the maintenance, for tracking the maintenance, the location, and the usage of physical assets, be it facility, buildings, equipment, fleets. Right? Basically, that's what we do. So any technology solution that it's around physical asset management, facility, fleet, equipment, or any form of asset. That's what we do as a company. So today is not going to be about our product or anything. It's going to be basically about technology and facilities management. Just for you to have a background information. Like this session is not even enough to scratch the surface of what can be used in facilities management. But we'll just focus on what is relevant to us in this particular industry, right? When I mean this industry, in this environment, which is Nigeria and Africa as a whole, and we're going to be focusing on software basically that are the things you should be looking out for, and why you actually need technology and facilities management, and also the things you need to be looking out for while picking a particular software for your facility management process. And if we still have enough time, we're going to be looking at a demo of our own facility management software for you to just have a feel of what it can actually do for you, or what a facility management software actually looks like. So this is like a quick summary of what we're going to be doing today. So let's dive right into it. Please, can you confirm that you can hear me clearly, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Paul. So first, let's look at why we even need technology and facilities management in the first place. So let's face it, facility management is actually a very difficult and challenging profession. It's sometimes very, very chaotic. You know, when you have just a building that you are maintaining, yes, it may not really be a serious headache, but just imagine when you have lots of those buildings with hundreds of assets that you have to take care of. When I mean assets now, those managed assets ACs, generators, lift, access control. There are lots and lots of assets that makes the job actually very, very difficult. And there are lots of services that facility managers actually renders to their customers. So when I mean customers, I mean their end users, which could be the staff of the company that you're working for, or basically maybe the clients that you're rendering your service to. So there are services like cleaning services, landscaping, electrical. There are lots of services like that I don't have to even list out here. That's why Mr. Paul and Co are already here. So, and apart from you rendering all these services or managing all these services for your end users, facility managers are also still faced with different processes within the organizations. Processes like preventive maintenance, tracking, service requests, work orders, quotation, name it, vendors, contracts, even procurement. So facility managers are actually responsible for procurement. Even some are responsible for fleets, scheduling, budgeting, expense tracking, safety and compliance. And then there are lots, depreciation of assets. There are lots and lots of things that facility managers are actually involved in. So it's really a chaotic and very, very demanding profession, right? So, but what the strange part is that even professions that are not really as demanding or as multifaceted, like facility managers, that their job are actually well defined, like accounting, HR, for example. Those particular professions, they already have most people in medium to large organizations that are in this profession already have solutions, right? Technology, they use technology at the moment to drive that. So you can't go to any medium to large organization that has HR or that has accounting. They will have a form of application that they are using for HR and accounting and even procurement and some other processes. So you have like an HR management system, HRM, or like an ERP or an accounting package somewhere, P3, something will be in use for those. So it's actually strange that for facility management, right, most, even in medium and even very, very large organizations that we've actually seen, most of these processes are still handled manually. Definitely the fact that facility management is actually key. Like you can just imagine if I walk into a bank and the whole place is all the ACs are not working. I won't even trust my money with that particular bank in the first place. So facility management that most companies take for granted is actually key in terms of how they actually get customers and how they deliver, as in the trust that customers actually have for a particular company depends on how, in a way, it's tied to the effectiveness of the facility management. And yet, most people still don't provide the necessary tools. Most companies don't provide necessary tools required for facility managers to actually do their job adequately. Yet, they provide it for other people, other professions that may not even be as demanding as facility managers, or maybe as customer-facing as facility management. So what we notice in most of these big companies is that the facility management team still relies mainly on manual processes using documents, spreadsheets, emails, pen and paper for POs. Everything is still really manual, right, for their operations. And you have lots of paper flying around, files flying around everywhere. Then what we also notice is that for some very large organizations that already have ERPs in place, like SAP, Microsoft Dynamics, Sage, and some other big applications like that. So what they basically do is that when the facility managers ask for a system or a solution, they will just tell them that we already have an ERP. An ERP can do anything. So that's what they sold to them. The ERP can actually do anything, and therefore they will now try to tweak the ERP that they have in-house to also perform the role of facilities management. And for that to even work, it's going to require a whole lot of customizations, to even make it fit for purpose, and very expensive customization to make it fit for purpose. And at the end of the day, because the customization that will be required to actually get it to really work for facilities management will be so much. Therefore, the company end up doing a little bit, maybe give you an interface for you to just submit request, or when the client submits a request, you will now enter that request in that particular interface. Communication engines will not be integrated. They're also left out because it's actually very, very difficult to integrate those things to an ERP, or because it's actually very expensive to do it, and the companies just end up giving you like a mini version of Excel where you can just input your data, right? Just for you to go and search in the figure. So at the end of the day, most of the facility managers that are in these organizations still end up going back to the already trusted Excel, paper, pen and paper and all those things, because even the ERP that was given to them is actually very useless and very, very difficult to use. In fact, when they're even outside the office, they can't use it because most of those ERPs are limited to the in-office usage, so you can't use them remotely. They don't even have mobile apps for you to be able to access things and on the go, like doing things like inspection checklist and some other things on the go. It's actually not possible to do that with these ERPs. So these are the situation in most organizations that we've seen here in Nigeria. Yeah, we know some companies have actually built out a system for facility management, which is built afresh, as in from bottom grade. I think telecoms, for some communication companies, they've already done that. But for most companies, that has not actually been done, and most and this is the situation. Is that they actually manual or semi-manual using ERP? Okay, so what are the challenges with this paper? So some people will just tell you that we've been using this for a very long time, so why should we even bother at the moment? But there are lots of challenges that actually, I think somebody is that letting me. Okay, so there are some of the, so what are the challenges? So I'm going to just pick like 4 pain points that are associated with these manual processes or with these issues that we've actually identified, right? Another person I see Konje on in the waiting room. Okay, so one of the challenge, the pain point is the planning and tracking of issues and routine maintenance are actually done on spreadsheets. Of course, when you do that on spreadsheets, so when I mean planning and tracking of issues and routine maintenances, basically I'm referring to routine maintenances that you do maybe on a regular, on a periodic basis, like fumigation that is done every 3 months, or AC maintenances that are done every maybe quarterly, or you have generator maintenance that is done every maybe 200 hours or something like that. These are sample routine jobs. So if you track this via Excel, what we notice is that sometimes it's people forget to, there's no form of reminders, right, from those Excel. So people have to go there to check every day to see what is going to be due tomorrow, next week, or there. And people tend to forget. And therefore, there are lots of missed maintenance schedules. And what are the effects of these missed maintenance schedules? It can lead to forgetting issues, frequent and costly service failures, right? So, for example, if you forget to do, let me use this basic fumigation, right? And there is outbreak of mosquito in that particular facility, right, which led to malaria, and somebody got admitted. God forbid, let's say it led to a very complex, complicated situation. You know, this is how bad, you know, when you miss a simple maintenance schedule, right? This is how bad it can actually get, right? Or maybe AC that stop working, or generator that had to go down in a very critical facility like an hospital, and someone is on life support. This because somebody missed out on the service frequency for that particular generator. I'm just giving different examples. It could be even in a production setting, like in a manufacturing settings, and because somebody missed out a particular maintenance schedule, the machine went down. Therefore, they couldn't produce, and the company ended up losing money. So these are different impacts that this issue can have. The simple missed maintenance schedules can actually lead to, and at the end of the day, this maintenance missed maintenance schedules can lead to maybe increasing operational costs, right? That actually directly impact the bottom line, or can lead to end users frustration, right? So if there is a power outage and people couldn't use the power because somebody didn't forget to actually do what he's supposed to do, then basically the users of that particular facility they are going to really be frustrated and angry. And this is one of the reasons why generally if you go to most organizations, most organizations are actually frustrated with the facility management. They don't even see like they are doing enough, right? That's the fact that the facility managers are actually working their socks off, right? So another pain point, the second pain point is inability to effectively track maintenance history and expenses as against the budget. So in companies, everything is about budget. Yeah, there's budgeting for everything, budgeting for maintenance, budgeting for fleet, budgeting for fueling, budgeting for everything as budget, right? And one of the main challenges with facility manager is if you are relying on manual process to actually track your all your expenses, then it will be very difficult for you to be able to track those expenses, what you spend against the budget, right? It's always very, very difficult. And then at the end of the day, that can over. Another thing is for maintenance history, you want to be able to pick a particular critical managed asset and be able to pull out the maintenance history of that asset. How much money have I spent on this asset? What is the what parts have I been able to replace? Have we replaced on this asset? When did we replace all those spare parts? Right. So if I want to, if an engineer is demanding or a technician is demanding for a spare part to be replaced again, I should be able to pick out the maintenance history of that particular asset and see what the last time that particular item or spare part was replaced on this particular machine, so that I can ask questions. I will know if it makes sense to replace it, or maybe to even replace the asset if there's an underlying problem, or maybe there's an underlying problem that is causing that particular spare part to go bad on a regular basis, or maybe we're even using a fake part, right? So these are information that you can easily get when you have quality data to work with. And if your data is currently on paper or documents, it's very, very difficult to even search for this information and to even have access to it. And therefore, people end up making decisions, subjectively. Let me just put it that way, based on how they feel, or not based on hard facts. That the decision are not supported by hard facts or figures. So these are some of the challenges that people face. And at the end of the day, if you can't track your expenses, it will be very difficult for you. It will be easy for you to go over your budget, right? So there could be things like budget overrun or even expensive recurring problems that you're not able to identify. So there could be like we've had cases in the past where in a company that has like maybe up to 50 to 100 ACs, someone just kept replacing the compressor in a particular AC over and over again, like almost every quarter. And nobody was able to pick this out until they replaced like up to four compressors on that particular AC. That is compressor is the most expensive component in the AC, and it keeps going back. So the amount of money you would have spent on replacing four compressors would have replaced that particular AC. Or maybe it's even fraud. Maybe somebody is even playing games or trying to manipulate the system. Or maybe there's an underlying problem with the AC that is actually getting the compressor to go bad that needs to be fixed. But because there's no information, there's no data rather to make good decisions, to know, it's very difficult for them to identify this kind of issues. Then, of course, when you don't spot these budget overruns or expensive recurring problems, it can limit management's ability to control costs by taking proactive actions to identify and block leakages. So if you don't have access, if you don't have data to actually work, you don't have a way to know exactly what is happening within the organization, then how do you control costs? How do you take proactive actions to actually block leakages or things that are actually happening? How do you know there's an inventory fraud? Maybe somebody is taking things out of your store, you can't even pinpoint it out. It's actually a problem. So the third one is so I'm about to take your time. The third pain point is for personnel that can't readily access work-related information remotely. In this day and age, people don't really sit down in one spot to work again. As in, work is now very, very dynamic. So facility managers has to go out to work, to do inspections, to do a lot of things. And sometimes in this time of COVID, most companies still even some personnel still work remotely or partially remotely from home. So if all your information actually stuck in pen and paper or in one Excel sheet in a particular PC at the office, how will you be able to access those information to be able to work, right? So that's one of the main concerns. And also we notice that most facility managers, they spend lots and lots of their time on mundane, redundant activities like documentations, creating requisitions, documenting work requests that are coming from their end users or from their customers, reporting. Sometimes management will ask for a simple report, like a maintenance history of a particular asset or some amount of money we spent on a particular facility within a particular month or in the last 3 months. And it will take days for the facility manager to actually provide that report, because those information are actually stuck in paper somewhere, or maybe on someone's Excel on their PC. And sometimes by the time they produce the reports are not even accurate, right? Because lots of things would have been lost, And there's this issue of also data silos where people keep different versions of documents on their PC. You will get to one person's PC, will tell you that we spent 20,000 let's say 200,000 on AC in the last month. The other person will say it's 150,000. You won't even know which data is actually correct. These are issues, and facility managers spend so much time on this reporting, on creating documentation, following up with account for payment, following up with procurement, doing POs, vendors, technicians, which is so cumbersome, and they spend like 30% of their time on this. In fact, research shows that facility managers spend up to 30% of their time on these redundant processes that are activities that can easily be automated. So this is one of the main challenges of facility management, and this leads to high turnaround time. So that means so much time on these activities, and therefore there's high turnaround time. It takes time before job are actually fixed, right? Then it can also lead to poor team communication, and all these things can lead to unsatisfactory team performance and end users um, dissatisfaction. Basically, because the facility manager doesn't have the tools to work effectively, right? At the end of the day, they will end up lots of jobs are end up getting delayed as it's done outside the SLA, right? Past the due date, and at the end of the day, the whole facility management, as in the end users or the company as a whole, gets frustrated with the facility management team, right? That's why they didn't even provide the tools they are required to actually do their job, and therefore they are deemed as poor performing departments, right? This happens a lot in lots of organizations. So the last pain point that we'll discuss is the lack of centralized system for documenting, tracking, and reporting issues. So when you don't, most facility managers or most companies doesn't have like a centralized system for them to actually track and document and report all their issues, right? All the issues that are coming in. And for if you are dealing with maybe a very small facility, and you get like maybe like 2-3 requests per day, it may not really be a problem. But when you are managing like a big facility, like a campus, a school campus, for example, where it's even a mixed use facility, where you have residentials, you have the residential facilities there, the residential quarters, you have the commercial part, you have the departments, as in it's where, and you can be receiving tens and tens of requests on a daily basis. It becomes very, very difficult if you are handling all these things via manual processes. It will become very, very, very difficult for you to be able to track these requests and be able to document these requests, and also to even report, generate reports on the issues that have been reported in the past. And therefore this leads to data side, like something an item, a service from a particular vendor, let's say 5 months ago or 3 months ago. Now you want to do that same type of job again, but you just want to pick out the last you want to know the amount of money you spent the last time, so that you'll be able to compare and make sure that what you are getting is still very, very competitive. You searching for that information, if you are using manual process, they take hours, right? But with a system, you can easily just punch in maybe a work order number or just search that facility or something, and it's going to come up like in less than 30 seconds. So it saves a whole lot of time. And when you can search for information quickly, people get frustrated and they end up making decisions without quality data backing their decision. So of course, that's directly impact the quality of management decision, and not just management, even the facility manager's decision or making process. So, like I already explained in this pain point, this mostly leads to end users and customers frustration, like I already explained to you. It also, all these manual process also leads to budget overrun and increasing cost, low productivity leading to unsatisfactory team performance, and also poor decision making. So these are the effect of all these manual processes. So there's a better way, right? So this better way is not just about instant or our products. This is just about implementing technology. So like I told you, I'm not here to sell our product or anything. I'm just here to educate you guys on the importance or how technology can help you to facilitate your facilities management processes, can help you to improve your process, makes you more productive, and help you to render better service to your end users. So there's a better way. So work planning. So let's look at work planning. If you have a facility management application, should allow you to easily plan your work, so you can plan, schedule, and monitor your tasks easily. Then you can also receive instant notifications and reminders can be sent to all stakeholders via SMS, email, and even in-app notifications for different events that may be happening within the like, e.g., fumigation is due, AC is due for maintenance, any form of event that you've already set into the system, firefighting equipment maintenance, and lots of other events that you already configured. And therefore, this can help you to eliminate human oversight right? And errors that can lead to potential and costly failures and repairs. So because the system can automatically just remind you and let you know, send several reminders, based on your configuration. It will be the oversight problems that can lead to costly failures, right? And repairs can be avoided easily. Then for budgeting and expense tracking, if a facility management software should be able to help you in terms of tracking your budget as against your expenses. So at the end of the day, you can know exactly if you are running above budget, and you can put in controls to make sure that you take care of that. A cost control process can be put in place for that, and you can easily be able to track, all expenses and maintenance history on each of your facilities, your locations, your assets, or even a service category like plumbing, electricals, and the rest. And it can also let you easily identify and block leakages. So this helps you to easily identify and block leakages and also reduce cost easily. And we also have so there's any facility management application that you should also enable mobility. So when I mean mobility, it should allow you to be able to work remotely on your phone, on your iPad, or even on your laptop remotely, right? There are 2 people in the waiting room, please. So if you're able to remain in control from anywhere at any time with mobile apps. So where you're able to generate reports, search for information on the mobile app, receive requests and attend to them, assign jobs to vendors or technicians, do your RFQs and lots of other things via the mobile app. So that's what you should be able to do via the mobile. So the mobile app allows you to track requests and also receive feedbacks, from your end users, and also satisfaction rating. These are things that are really important to have. And this can also help you to engage with your end users faster, as in better, and also improve your brand experience. So you can improve the kind of experience that you render to your end users, and therefore they can see you as your reputation. The reputation of the department can actually improve easily within the organization when end users are getting instant alerts, when a job a request is submitted, there is instant notifications coming in periodically when there are activities on that particular request, automated notifications. For example, someone wants to say something. Okay. So for example, let's say I submitted a request to the facility management team. I have a plumbing issue in my apartment or something, or in my office. And as soon as I submit that request via a web link or something, I see a notification that my request has been received, and somebody is going to get in touch with me shortly. Then later I see another request saying that a technician is coming in the next 15 minutes to look at it. Then after that, when the issue has been fixed, I receive a notification that the issue has been fixed, and I should provide a rating and satisfaction, as in my rating, or how happy I am with the quality of service done, and I'm able to rate my satisfaction level. That kind of experience can actually make me feel, can elevate my how can I put it now? How I feel about the facility management department, the facility management team. Basically, I'll be happier with the team. Then with a facility management software will also allow you to handle multiple requests. Just imagine if you are managing a big campus, or a big residential facility, or even a commercial facility that is like a big mall. There are lots of requests coming in. With a facility management software, you should be able to handle those requests with stunning ease. And it should be request comes in, you receive notification that requests are in, and you can track them, you can assign them, you can prioritize them, you can do a whole lot of things, and you can have a calendar to even see where what needs to be done each day at which time. This is what a facility management software can actually do for you. Then this actually helps you to reduce the risk of forgotten issues, because I've spoken with lots of facility managers in the past, and one of the main issues that they are facing is with forgotten issues, right? So they have this requisition form manual, like a paper that a client fill, and when the client fills that paper, they will not give that paper to the technician to go and fix the problem, right? And the funniest thing that the technician can just can be caught up with another issue that he needs to fix, and we just drop that document somewhere, and nobody remembers that issue or job again until the end user now ask again or followed up or get frustrated and report to someone that, see, I reported this thing like 5 days ago and nobody has done anything about it. So there is issue of forgotten issues, and which can lead to lots of frustrations by the end users. So basically, if facility management software should help you to quickly track, there's it helps you to quickly find the exact information you're actually looking for. And you should have like a way to be able to search maybe via the apartment or via the work order number or asset tag or something, to easily pick up the information that you're actually looking for at every point in time. That's what the fast management software should be able to do for you. You should be able to also generate reports, real analytics, for you to make better decisions in a very short time. So generate lots of reports like how much money am I spending on a monthly basis? Is my cost increasing or reducing? Which service is consuming more of my resources? What's the status of all my facilities in terms of the number of requests that are coming in, or the number of corrective requests versus preventive requests that are coming in? What's the SLA performance like? How fast are we able to resolve jobs? All these reports, actually, our analytics are really key for you to improve your service or improve your performance as a team, and also improve the satisfaction, and even drive costs down, right? All these analytics and reports are really, really important. Okay, and lastly, I think the efficient process management. So you should be able to easily track, document, and assign and prioritize your tasks. And you should be able to even resolve issues faster. So if you're using an automated system, it allows you to better document issues that are coming in. Most of the time, issues are even documented at source. When I mean at source, from the requester or from preventive maintenance that you've already put in place, or from procurement and inventory perspective. When goods received not have accredited for a particular PO or a supplied goods, it automatically goes into the inventory, and when you use it in the work order, it's automatically deducted. And then all these processes allow you to easily someone at the waiting room, please. So all these processes allows you to easily resolve your issues faster and improving the service quality that you actually render. Okay. So then with a facility management software, with a good one, you should be able to also receive notifications and alerts, instant alerts and notifications, or even send out notifications. So it can send out alerts on your behalf. So you don't have to send multiple emails, lots of emails. You have to send prepare RFQ, send it out via email, follow up, as in send updates, to your requesters on a regular basis to get them to. Just imagine if you have like 20 requests that are currently ongoing, you need to update each of the requester on the status of their request. It takes so much time. But when you have a system that automatically sends those notifications out based on events that are happening on those jobs, then it can take a whole lot of stress off you. Then you can also automate creation and delivery of lots of documents, like e.g. job completion document, purchase orders, RFQs, payment requisitions, job completion certificate, all those documents that you have to go to Microsoft Word and Excel to create. A facility management software should have a way to easily create those documents for you automatically from the work orders or from the PO or from information that in the system, and deliver it automatically to the recipient. And with this, you can actually save a whole lot of time. So you can now free up, personnel time that are spent on mundane or redundant activity directly impact the bottom line. Like I always tell facility managers, facility management is actually a strategic role. It's not a technician role, right? It's not. You should not be passing paper from one table to the other. That's not the job of a facility manager. A facility management role is actually a strategic role in terms of how you can reduce costs for the organization, while also improving the quality of service that are being rendered, and a whole lot of things that Mr. Paul must have, of course, explained to you, right? And people in Max-Migold would have explained to you. So these are things you should focus on, right? Not on mundane activities like following up with accounts, procurement, drafting RFQs, and all those things. Those activities should actually be automated. Please give me a moment. Okay, I'm back. So these are the things that a facility management software should be able to do for you, right? Okay, so the next slide. All right, so please, if you have any question, you can ask me now. Before we now go, so the next thing I want to do is to go into the modules of a facility management software, right? Is there any question, Mr. Paul? Can we take question before we go, or should I just continue? Hello, Mr. Paul. Can you hear me? Elizabeth. Please, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Please, if you have any question, you can just type it in the chat, so I'll be able to read it, and we can discuss it. So let me just go straight to what you should expect from a facility management software in terms of the modules and what you should be looking out for. Because if you are in search of one, then what you can just do here is to empower you to be able to make the right decision in terms of the choices you have to make in getting one. All right. So please, what can you see on my screen at the moment? Just read out anything you can see on my screen, plees. I want to be sure we're on the same page. Yeah. So I want to share another slide. Okay. Can you see my new screen?
Yes,
web and mobile. Can you see? Okay. Yes. Okay, great. So the first thing I want to discuss with you is when you are trying to. So this is, of course, this is related to our own application, but I'm going to be general. Like I'll try and be general as much as possible. I can even mention things that are not even in my system anyway, so that I'll be as objective as possible in terms of giving you the exact thing that information you need to make one decision. All right. So
with the other 200.
Okay. So let's go straight into it. So what we're going to look at now is what are the things you need to look out for while making a decision to buy to procure a facility management software or any form of technology, especially software for your facility management usage. Number one, in this day and age, you should be looking for a system that is accessible anywhere at any time, right? A system that if you're at home, you can access it, you can access your information and still work on it easily, and can also be accessed based on mobile and also on web, right? That is not something that has to be installed on your laptop, and if somebody snatch your laptop and take it away, then all your information is actually gone. The world has actually moved past that. You should be using something that it's accessible, anywhere, and is not domiciled on your laptop or on your mobile phone, right? So that's number one consideration that you have to look out for. Then number two, you must be comfortable with the application. When I'm comfortable with it, you should see the interface, see how things are created there, be comfortable with the user interface, make sure it's friendly enough and the process will actually fit your process as an organization, right? And there won't be need make sure you go for an application that won't need huge and expensive customization for you to actually deploy it, right? Because that could be really, really frustrating and can also increase the time, the implementation timeline, as in time, right? So it's really important. So go for something that is very, very easy to use, like really easy to use without much training. For most big facility management software, I must be honest with you, it's like an ERP. You have to be trained, right, for you to know how things are linked within the system. But things, small activities like creating, submitting a request, creating a PPM, approving things, viewing what you have in store, generating a PO, those activities should actually be very, very easy for you to perform on the system. And it should also allow you to customize. So go for something that, number one, requires minimal customization for you to fit how you currently work. Don't buy a system that will force you to fit your process, unless your process is not good enough at the moment. But if you have a solid facility management process that has lots of good controls in place and still not too much bureaucracies, let me put it that way. If you have that process in place and you are comfortable with your process, then you should be getting a system that at least fits, let's say, 80% or 85% into that particular process already. And you can now customize the other 20 or 15% or even 10%, right? So that's what you should actually look out for. Ask them, how are things connected in the system? How is the work request connected to work order? How is the work order connected to the inventory? How is the inventory connected to procurement? How is all these activities connected to your service charge and power charge? How are things connected in the system? How are they linked together in the system? Right? It's important for you to have that information and to understand the process flow, the default process flow that is built into the system, right? And go for a system that is very, very flexible and easy to customize to actually fit your need. Then also, because most companies may not have the facility to help you to host the system in-house, in their own server in-house, it's always good to also go for the option, to have the option to be able to host it in the cloud, or to have both options. Depending, because of course, if you're going to deploy anything, your IT has to get involved. So you need to know the preference of your IT department. Would they prefer in-house deployment or cloud deployment? And or are you going to go for a single tenancy system or a multi-tenancy system? These decisions are really, really key. For example, so if you are going for a multi-tenancy system, your ability to customize the application and the flexibility you're going to have is going to be very, very limited. If you are going for a single tenancy system, that means you are the only one. It's going to be deployed like a version of the app, or what's it called? An instance of the application is going to be deployed only for you. You won't share database with anyone. Your company just has its own database on that particular database engine. With that, it's easy for the company to actually customize. So the options for customization and the flexibilities and integrations becomes easier, possible, right? With a single tenancy system. But with the multi-tenancy system, like the likes of Gmail and all those, I'm just using that as an example. Customization may be very, very difficult. So it's for large scale deployments. I won't advise anybody to go for a multi-tenancy system. It's better you just stick to a single tenancy system that will be easy to integrate and also to customize. And talking about integration, you also need to ask questions about integration, because already you most likely have an account system, accounting department, or accounting system that you integrate, that you interface with, or a procurement department that you integrate, that you interface with. So if they already have their own system that they use, your application should be able to, the application you are getting should be able to have APIs that can integrate with all these other third-party systems that you have in place, like Active Directory for single sign-on, or for authentication within the organization. Should be able to integrate with things like what's it called, so your ERPs that you have, your accounting applications you have, your Sage of this world, your SAPs, your Microsoft Dynamics. You should have facilities and tools to be able to integrate with all these third-party software that you already have in your organization. Then it should be then of course support is really important. In fact, I can't emphasize this a lot, and this is why I try to tell people not to go for foreign system in Nigeria, because the cost of support could be really, really high. Sometimes I've seen implementations where people have to bring people in from India to implement, and after implementation, they still have to visit periodically, and you have to pay for their logistics just to fix a small bug, a small problem, right? So this is really important. You need to, that's where local always win, the part of support, because when you are dealing with a local system, you know that you can always call on them and they can be available at little to no cost to you. Unlike when you bought a product from UK, Germany, or from India, and sometimes the language they speak may be different from your own language, and you know, I've had instances where people deploy an application, and when they need changes to the application, they will fill a requirement form, and when they fill that requirement form, they sell it to someone in South Africa, and the provider in South Africa will now have to convert that, will now have to convert that document to French before now sending it to France for them to now implement. In all this process of converting and this end-to-end thing, interpretations are lost, right? And requirements are actually lost in the process. And at the end of the day, by the time the final stuff is implemented and is tested, it doesn't actually fit what is different from exactly what was requested. A lot of things actually missing out. So this is something you need to try to avoid. If you can source locally, please source locally. If not, of course, you can always go overseas to get something that fits your need. All right, so these are your considerations. Why? Also make sure that if you are going to deploy a facility management software, make sure you have your data intact, right? Your list of assets, your asset register is intact, even if it's in Excel. Make sure it's intact. The information that are key to your preventive maintenance schedules, make sure they are all intact. And also even the nomenclature, right, of your facilities. How maybe you have 3 layer for the classification of your facilities could be maybe facilities, buildings, then apartments or location. You need to have all those things sorted out before you implement a facility management software. All right, so let's move on. So the next thing I want to do now is to run you through the modules. For the futures, let's just go straight to the futures. The futures you should be expecting, you should be looking out for in the facility management software. Number one, the work management or the maintenance management module. So it should have of course, all facility management software will have this. They will have a work management module or a work order module, or sometimes they call it service request plus work order module, right? Or maintenance module. So this module should have features like work request or a service desk. So a service desk is like interface where people can actually submit requests, and you can go in there, see all the requests are submitted, prioritize those requests, attend to them, approve them, create a work order for those requests. You can do all those things from those interface. So you should have a work request interface. It should accept. So I'm going to rush this part just to give you an idea, not really go into the details. So it should have a service level agreement like an SLA. Feature, which allows you to track compliance to the SLA that you signed with your vendors, right, or with your technicians, for you to measure compliance with those service level agreements. It should have a work order feature for you to prioritize, assign work orders to even cost the work order, and even the work order module should also be able to integrate with other modules like inventory, for you to pick items from your store to use for a maintenance activity. Then most importantly, preventive maintenance. So preventive maintenance is really key, because you should have less of firefighting and more of planned scheduled maintenances. So your objective should be to reduce your corrective or corrective maintenances and why improving your preventive maintenances. So your application should be able to send reminders. For number one, you should be able to set all your preventive maintenances. Then you should be able to get reminders, automated reminders for all those maintenances and the process for doing them. And the reminders should not just go to the facility manager, but based on your process, you should also go to maybe the vendor or the technician that was assigned to the jobs, because most preventive maintenance are already approved job within the company, right? So no need to go for additional levels of approval. But of course, for some companies, it differs. Then other module you should be looking out for is vendor and technician management. So basically, this should it should have things like vendor and technician register, where you have a database of all your vendors and technicians, their phone number, email address, the type of service that they render for you, their payment history, their work related history, you know, have all information with respect to them. And it should also allow you to perform performance evaluation on your vendors, to be able to know the performance rating for each of your vendor and your technicians. You're able to send out requests for quotations to your vendors, and they should be able to also send quotations back to you. And that quotation management process should be able to be, it should be handled by the application. Even vendor payment requisition. So when you want to request for payment from account, the application will be able to integrate with your accounting system so that it can send payment requests directly to the accounting department after it has been approved, right? So then you should have modules for asset and inventory. So which will include your asset register, list of your assets, their specifications, the supplier's detail, the serial number, purchase date, all those information that are important to you. You should have assets. You should be able to generate the maintenance history of your assets and even create preventive maintenance plans for each of your assets. Things like asset log, where e.g. for generator, where you have to keep the log of the generator so that the system can let you know when it's due for maintenance. Inventory control. For inventory, you will need things like inventory control, which should be linked directly to the work order. When you are issuing things from the inventory, you should be able to deduct what you have, reduce what you have in the stock. And when you are buying things into the store, it should actually increase the number that you have in the store. So things like reorder level should also be included for you to receive notification when you are running low on a particular supply. And things like transfer, when you are transferring an asset from one location to the other, the application should have facility to be able to build a process around this, where such there should be a request for those transfer and approval for those transfer before the item can actually be moved from that location to another location. Right, so those are really key features you should look out for. Then for procurement, for those of you that are, for facility managers that are also still involved in procurement activities, you will need things for like purchase requests, requests for items, right? Purchase order management, suppliers register, where you have a list of all your suppliers. Of course, RFQ, then good receipt note, which is like a document used to receive items that are procured, even for services that are procured into your store, so that it can actually automatically increase the numbers that you have in your store, or add those items to your store. So other modules you should be looking out for, if it's relevant to you, number one is space booking. So for space booking, it should so space booking module allows you to actually book for, so it's part of space management, right? So there are lots of, for space management is still at the infancy in Nigeria, right? But space booking is one of the way it's one of the space management feature that you can have. So with that, you can book for a particular common area, right? Or a bookable space, like meeting rooms, like gym, swimming pool area, meeting rooms, garden, event center, any bookable location. So you can use this to track the booking for that particular location, so that you can avoid clashes, right? Schedule clashes. And you can also generate you should be able to generate reports on utilization of a particular common area, like meeting room. What's the percentage utilization of that particular meeting room? Basically, you should be able to get reports like that. So the next one is for those that manage residential facilities, right, or commercial facilities. You should have things like power and service charge module, which allows you to bill for service charges, and also to be able to report the utilization of that particular amount, the deposit that was paid, right? So basically, that's what power and service charge does. So you should have a way for you to report back to the occupants how you spend the money that was deposited, and also have facilities for things like online payments, utility billing, and lots of other things that are related to power and service charge. Okay. Other modules I think that are not in this slide that may be of interest to you is resource management. So there are some facility management application as resource management module, which allows you to book, to actually create a visitor's pass for a visitor that's coming to see you, and he has to provide that pass at the gate before the access control system will allow him into the particular facility. And when he's also exiting the facility, of course, you can also have the option of generating an exit pass before you can leave the facility. So something to just control movement in and out and to reduce the delays. You know, I know lots of facilities where people still come in, and there are lots of delays at the gate where they ask you to call the person that you are coming to visit, and that person has to pick and now clear you in. You know, if the person already knows you are coming in, can so just create a pass, and when you get to the gate, you provide the pass, they verify you, and just go into the facility. So this is also a very important a critical feature if it's applicable to you. And there are other, even the visitors management feature can also, apart from just generating the pass, it can also help you control movement in and out of that particular facility, and also document who is actually going and coming out. Most of you are already aware of this, this physical notebook that you have, the visitors book that you have to sign each time you visit most of the facilities in Nigeria, both commercial and residential. You will put in your name, your phone number, who you are going to visit, and all those things. They don't use that booklet for anything. In fact, to search out information out of those booklets, it's a big challenge, right? But what if you can replace it with an automated system where that information becomes meaningful at that point in time, as you can really generate reports, analytics, how many visitors do we receive on an average on a daily basis, who receive more of the visitor, this particular visitor, how often does he come around, and when was the last time he visited, as in those information, that's the information you need from those kind of documents. But because those things are actually manual, it's difficult for you to even search or make any sense out of those paper documents. So with a proper visitors management system, you can replace those documents and also reduce the delay that people experience at the gates when coming into facilities. All right. What other module? So for some facility management team, right, they are also in charge of the fleet management for their organization. So they have some few vehicles and things like vehicle pooling. Some of those vehicles are even pool vehicles, so they are in charge of the fueling of those vehicles, the booking for those vehicles, maintenance of those vehicles, and some other things. So if you can also get a facility management software that has a fleet management solution integrated into it, if it's applicable to you, then it will also be a nice add-on. There are other space management features that can also be integrated into facility management, but in our environment at the moment, I'm not seeing lots of use cases for space management at the moment, but maybe Mr. Paul can speak more on that. So, what are the management benefits of actually implementing a facility management software? Number one, you can extend your asset life cycle, because if the assets are properly maintained, then they last longer. So with the facility management software, you can implement preventive maintenance processes easily, and therefore you won't be missing schedules, and it's easy for you to actually execute those preventive maintenance plans. And with that, you can elongate the life cycle of your assets. You can reduce your maintenance costs when you have quality reports and processes in place, an automated system that allows you to control leakages, right, and cost overruns, right. You can easily reduce your cost. Then, of course, you can reduce the frequency of asset breakdown, which can also cause critical damage to the brand of the organization. So that can also help you, because and also reduce the delays, how long the turnaround time, how long it takes for an asset to be back online after it has gone down. Because now facility managers won't have to focus on other activities. They can just focus on things that are actually key, which is to make the facility run properly, right, at low cost as possible. So, and of course, too, it's also important for people that keeps inventory. Inventory fraud is really common in Nigeria, but when you have like an inventory module that can help you to actually control the things you have in your store and the allocation of those things that you have in the store, then of course you can really cut down on inventory fraud. You can really easily report how things that you are buying into your store are being used. You can link an item, a spare part that is bought into a particular location or even to a particular asset, right, where it's being used. Then you can also generate better reports and insight through management reports, analytics, and also and all sorts of reports like SLA, compliance reports, cost-related reports, budget-related reports, assets performance reports. You can generate several reports, right, from the information from the wealth of information that you actually keep on a facility management software.
All right, I think I've been able to run through what the facility management software can do for you. So, okay. So please, I would like to entertain questions here before I can now go in. I won't really do a deep demo, but I'll just show you how a facility management software looks like and some reports you can actually see from a facility management software. This session is going to take, I think, is it 3 hours or something? But I'm not sure. It's actually, it depends on your questions anyway. We should not take up to that. So please, if you have any question, let me check the chat. Okay, there's a question here. What of where I have different clients, a small school here, a 10-room guest house there, a small church there? How does this work? Yeah, so I think the question that this person that Okafor is asking is what if in a situation where he has lots of clients and maybe different locations that he currently manages, like different types of facilities, like a school, a church, different type of facilities, a guest house, an hotel somewhere. He's asking how would this work? Basically, a facility management software should be able to manage multiple locations for you, right? So you should be able to create multiple locations within the system. So it should have support for multiple locations or multiple facilities, so that you can create each facility separately. And then another thing you need to look out for why procuring a facility management software is that role control and access control is key. So if you have a facility manager who works with you but he's in charge of one of your facility, and so you should be able to give him access to only that facility, and he should be able to work on only that facility, while you restrict access to other part of the facility. So these are controls that you can actually have. You can put in place if you have a solid facility management software, and you'll be able to generate report for each of the facilities. Manage the activities of each of the facilities, keeps your record, your report easily. I want to believe that answers your question, okay. Please, does any other person have any question, please, before we continue?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, I want to ask, this kind of software that you've described now is like it has a lot of features that covers everywhere. Yeah. So, under what can we categorize this? Can we categorize it under integrated work management system, or where can we categorize it along the comparing different levels of software for facility management?
Okay, so there are different. Thank you very much. Fantastic question. There are different names when it comes to facility management software that may be confusing to most people. And now that we're talking about technology, you should also know some of these things. So most of those, there are different names, different acronyms. You have CAFAM, you have CMMS, you have FMS, you have IWMS, you have WMS. As in, there are lots and lots of names out there. So how do you differentiate what from what? As in, what should you be looking out for? So I'll keep this as simple as possible, right? At the basic level, we have a CMMS system, which is called computerized maintenance management software. That's it at the basic level. And what that does for you is just maintenance management, basically. So it has your work, it helps you to manage your work orders, your preventive maintenance, and maybe it will have a service desk for your people to also, for your end user to submit requests. So basically, it's targeted towards maintenance management. And not just maintenance management for facilities alone, even for equipment, right? So if you work in a manufacturing company and you have lots of assets, production assets, this CMS system can be implemented to help you track maintenance of those assets, right? And the preventive maintenance is both corrective and preventive maintenance of those assets. So that's what a CMS does as a basic level. You won't in a CMS system, you won't see things like power and service charge. You won't see things like space booking, visitors management. Those won't be available in a CMS system. Even in a CMS system, things like asset register and inventory and procurement could come in as add-on, but they are not part of the core, function of the application. So that's for CMMS. So if you're looking for something small for just maintenance management, yeah, you can be looking at a CMMS system. But there are other systems too, like a CAFM, computer-aided facility management, right? That's CAFM, CAFM. So CAFM is bigger, right? It has an element of CMMS in it, which is the maintenance management. And it also has lots of those other things I'm talking about, like space booking, procurement, inventory, resource management. Even some of them has fleet management and lots of other things in it. So CAFM is like a big name, right? It has more modules, right, than a CMMS system. Then the other name is IWMS, integrated. So IWMS could be integrated work management system or integrated workplace management system, but I'll just take it as integrated workplace management system. So integrated workplace management system is like, or they can call it workplace management system. So it's like a facility management software that is focused on the workplace, right? Not residential per se. It's not really focused on residential. It's actually focused on corporate organizations, right? So it has modules focused on corporate organizations. So it still has all these things for work management. It has modules for visitors management and all these things we've talked about, procurement. It has integrations. So those ones can easily integrate with lots of other corporate applications like SAP, ERPs, Active Directory, all these common third-party software that are used within the organization, right? So it has facility to integrate with all those ones easily, right? So that's workplace. So workplace management system is actually customized or is built specifically for workplaces, not really for commercial, not for facilities management companies, right? They actually built for workplace or for corporate organizations like the banks of this world, schools, oil and gas companies. You get the gist, telecommunications, and all those industries. Okay. The last one is, which I've been talking about, is facility management software. All of them are all facility management software. So I decided to use the word facility management software from the beginning so that I won't confuse you. I will use maybe CMMS, CAFM, or IWMS from the start. So those are the difference between all these things. So when you're trying to check, just know which acronym to use. But to be on the safe side, just search for facility management software. I think that's with that you don't have to bother yourself too much on maybe going for CAFM or CMMS or the rest. Olayemi, does that answer your question?
Yeah, you've actually touched the right. Okay, let me just say, you've actually answered that question. I think I can differentiate between them now. Because I was trying to place this particular, this like a generalization. Okay, these are all the features that are possible, and then you can find your level.
Yes, yes.
So okay, okay. Then if in having a software like this instance, let me give as an example. Can you give us an idea of how much will it cost, and then maybe there are variants? Okay, maybe there is a basic level, there is an intermediate, maybe then advanced, so that we can have an idea. Okay, if you want to introduce this to your organization, or so this is the likelihood of the cost implications.
Okay, this is not the place for discussing cost, but what I will do is I'm going to explain the charging model for different type of application. Like I said, I won't make anything specific to Instanta here, right? So I will just explain what you should expect in terms of the pricing model for different types of application. It varies, right? But if you know what to expect, you will know the advantage and disadvantage of different pricing models, right? Different vendors, different providers have different pricing model. that works for them, right, or works for their industry. And the pricing model that works in the States, in US, may be different from what works in Nigeria, may be different from what works in Europe or even in UAE. Even in Africa and Nigeria may be different. So basically, there are different models. But I'm going to explain the models to you so you will have a clear idea. And when discussing with a vendor, you can say, oh, this is what I want, this is what, or this is your price, what's your pricing model like? And you will easily know the pros and cons of each of the model. So in the past, the most common model is a one-time fee, a one-time licensing fee. So when you want to buy the likes of Planum, these are top incumbents, let me put it that way. Facility software, of course, they are foreign products, or the likes of CAFAM and the rest. So when you want to buy those kind of products in the past, I don't know what their model is like now, but in the past, it's you have to pay a big fee, which is the implementation plus the licensing fee. So licensing fee is different from implementation fee. Licensing fee is the cost amount you are paying for the software. Implementation fee is the amount you are paying for them to get the application ready for you to use, which include things like training, customization, deployment, installation, lots of data imports, and lots of other things, right? So sometimes implementation fee may even be more expensive than the licensing fee, right? So they charge you that fee, and you have to, when you pay that fee, then they will now charge you a percentage of the first year fee as a support or a maintenance fee. So you pay like maybe 25% or 20% of that for big fee you charge they charge you in the first year. That's what you pay recurring for the customization and support. So this is the model. But the challenge with this model is that, so this is the old model, right? That most people, and there are lots of people that are still on this model anyway. So let me not really call it old, right? The good part of this model is that when you have that model, if it's a one-time licensing fee, you can use the application. So it's a perpetual license. You can use the application like forever. You don't have to pay money. But if you don't pay for support, what happens is that you won't get security fixes, updates, things that will keep the application running very well. You won't get those, but you can keep using the application like forever. Right? So that's what you have. Then, that's the positive part of that particular model. The negative part of that model is that it could be really, really expensive the first year. I've seen people spend up to like 20 million, 25 million, 10 million, 50 million, even more, right? 50 million sometimes to even implement a fast. I was speaking with a company that they said they spent $1 million to implement the solution that they're currently using. I was like, how? So that's the thing with that particular model. It could be really, really expensive the first time because you're actually buying like a lifetime license, right? Then subsequently, you now pay a percentage for it. So the initial cost outlay may be very, very expensive. And for most of those software, most of them are also deployed maybe out on a server. So you may have to procure an hardware server too for those models. Maybe now they've changed. They may be able to deploy it in the cloud now. But that's it. And then the other disadvantage of that is that you won't get upgrades, right? The maintenance fee you are paying is for them to support you and to give you updates, security updates, and new updates. But when it gets to update, the factual changes, like when you are changing from Microsoft Windows Windows 10 to Windows 12. Sorry, I don't use Microsoft Windows like that. So I don't know which one is currently the new one. But when you want to upgrade from maybe Windows XP to Windows 10, for example, you have to pay, right? So that's the disadvantage too. So for every new upgrade that comes with huge upgrade, right, they will ask you to buy that new one. So you have to pay a significant amount of money to upgrade again. So those are the disadvantages of that particular model. And then the other model, which is kind of more popular now, is for you to be paying like an annual licensing or subscription fee, or it could even be monthly subscription fee that you pay. So it's actually a token that you pay every month, or you can pay annually or quarterly for using the application, right? So the disadvantage of this particular one is that when If you don't pay, you stop using the application, as in the application stops working. You may still have access to your data, but it will stop working. So you have to keep renewing your license, maybe monthly or annually, for you to keep having access to the application. Your license is not perpetual like the first one. Then the benefit of it is that you may not spend so much money initially. That means you can start very small scale over time. So you can start maybe one or two users that are using it, or just one location. Then you can now scale to other locations, right? Over time, and with that you don't have to spend so much money. You can even start as low as maybe 500,000, or for some that are single tenants, you can even start as low as 50,000 naira. I'm just saying, for you to even start using the application. So of course with limited features, and that's for multi-tenancy application. But for single tenancy, of course, you are going to spend much more than that to get it on board in the first place. So that's the second model. And I think these are the two popular models. The other thing you need to also notice is that the advantage of the second model, which is when you pay like a subscription every month or annually, is that every form of update, security, everything is included. So you don't have to pay when there's an upgrade. It comes automatically. As they are updating the system, as they're releasing an update, you're also getting it immediately. Whereas in the other model, you won't be getting upgrades, right? You have to pay for you to get the upgrade. So those are the two difference between the two models. And some people also base their charges based on, so the amount of money you pay is also related to things like number of users that you have, or the size of your facility, how many locations that you have, or the number of modules that you have, or a combination of any of these three. So someone that is using just work management module may not pay as high as someone that is using work management, resource management, procurement, inventory, asset management, and all those things. So the price can also increase based on the number of assets that you have, or based on the number of users that are using the product, or based on the number of locations that you have, or a combination of the three, right? So that's how it works. So like I said, I won't give you the raw figures here in terms of what you should be expecting to pay, but the values vary depending on the model that the client, the vendor charges. I hope that answers your question. Of course, not exactly what you want to hear, but you should have an idea, especially when speaking with a vendor, of what to expect when it comes to pricing.
Thanks so much. I
Right.
really appreciate that. I think that really answers the question. This last question, I want to ask, you mentioned locally developed software and then those ones that were developed internationally or something, or from other countries. Did you develop the software yourself, or you are a franchise to a particular developer or something?
Okay. Of course, I don't want this to be about Instata, but Instata is actually locally developed, right? It's locally developed and is used by top organizations already in Nigeria. UPDC, Afamid are already using it. These are top facility management companies, and Keystone Bank is using it, the British Council, and some other. So it's developed locally, right? And Instata is not the only locally developed facility management software. There are others, right? I won't mention their name because they are our competitors, so I won't mention their name. But I don't even know their names. Let me just put it that way. I don't know their names because they've not developed to the point that they are an headache. You get what I'm trying to say? But still, yeah, they are too small for me to bother about them at the moment. In terms of the size of the modules that they have, the features that they have, right? So, but if you Google, you will see some, right, that are out there, and they're also built locally, and they some of them offer multi-tenancy, which may also be a very good catch for some people that are looking for very low cost solution out there. So there are some locally based, locally developed solution. But I will advise you, when you are buying local, you should look at local first before you look at foreign, because of support, and because a locally developed solution most likely would have tapped into the brains of practitioners in the local industry. That means most likely the product will fit the local industry better than when you are getting a foreign product. The likes of Paul Eruba, most likely would have evaluated such product and would have made lots of changes to it. And lots of I'm just using that as an example. So there are lots of people that would have that would have criticized, that would have done a lot of tweaks here and there, advice, and of course, so you may be getting something that better fits your need when you are looking for a locally made product. And again, so it's good to keep the money. All right, so I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much.
All right. So does any other person has question apart from Mr. Olayemi? Any other question from any other person?
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Shobanke.
Yes, sir. Sir, in my office, we use Oracle.
Okay.
Category does it fall into? Because I was told Oracle has a lot of modules if I want to add maybe cafe manager and the like.
Mm-hmm.
Is this software adaptable to Oracle, or how can I integrate it?
Okay, I want to believe that you are using Oracle e-business suite, right? Or they call it like the Oracle ERP. So it was part of, if you joined initially, as in when I started this meeting, I don't know if you started with us. Some people, some companies, big organizations, they already have ERPs integrated. And when an ERP vendor comes to those big organizations to sell their product, they will basically tell them that they have modules, like what you just said now. They will tell them that they have modules for everything, right? So if you buy Oracle, you don't have to buy any software again within the organization. But the question we always ask people is that, how come banking organizations, right, a bank, a financial institution, after deploying Oracle, for example, or SAP, or which other ones, Sage, or any of these Microsoft Dynamics, they still end up deploying the core banking application, what's the name of those banking, Finacle, and some other things which are core to what they do, right? So basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that ERPs like Oracle, like SAP, doesn't solve all problems like they normally tell you. They don't solve. They solve a whole lot of problems, but they don't solve all problems. Some specialized processes, right, require specialized application, and one of them is facilities management. Same way the banking system requires Finacle. Same way facility management department or organization requires a facility management software. So if you're going to use Oracle for your process, I will still tell you that half of what you're going to do will still be manual on paper. You're just going to Oracle to just put in data. It will just be data. Oracle will just serve like a data entry system for you, because the level of customization that we have to go through to actually make Instantly do all these features that already listed out will just be too expensive. In fact, nobody will be able to even do it for you, right? So what you should be doing is you should be getting a facility management software that can integrate with Oracle that already have, because Oracle will be doing things like procurement for you, or your procurement will already be on Oracle, your payment requisitions will go through Oracle for your accounting department and all of those things. So you should be getting a facility management software that will be able to integrate with that Oracle, so that while your facility management department are raising things on the facility management software, it can automatically push those data into your ERP, which is Oracle. And those Oracle, I don't know, you use Oracle, right? How friendly is the interface?
It's not. It just came. It's not friendly at all. You time waster.
Exactly. So for you that started, I mentioned this. Those ERPs are not actually, they are not user friendly. So they are very, very frustrating to use. And for facility manager that want to get things done quickly and move on to do the things that they need to do, is time wasting. And so at the end of the day, most facility managers that are forced to use things like Oracle and SAP still end up going back to pen and paper. They're already comfortable.
I use it for project management, capitalization, and inventory.
Yeah. So what our advice is, get a facility management software, integrate with, make sure it can integrate with the ERP that you have, which is Oracle. Then that's when you can have a good system to use.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Any other question, please?
Hello, sir. I just want, this is just like a clarification.
Okay.
One of us asked about where does this starter fall. So I got at the beginning, I got the breakdown that you did for talking about the CMMS, CFM, and the rest. So, but I just want, it's just the concluding part I didn't get. So I want to believe you're saying that Installer is under CFM. Is that correct?
No, I'm not classifying Installer here, right? Like I said, I'm not making this Installer. I didn't classify Installer, but there is one that you made up, which is the last one, which is the integrated workplace management.
Okay, yes, I got that. The one for workspace specifically,
yeah, that's
right?
Corporate organizations that are not, that their role is not, their job is not, their core business is not facilities management. So, for example, like educational institution, like
yes,
financial institution, like oil and gas, you know, they may be getting something like if they're not getting CMS, they should be getting like an integrated workplace management system that does far more than just maintenance for them.
Okay, so okay. All right, I get that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I would also like to ask, is it a possibility that a software like Instanta can operate under a different name? Maybe like you have an organization that has a software being used in the name of the organization, and then you want to adapt. I mean, they want that name to be preserved instead of saying, okay, Instanta. Maybe that Instanta can operate a segment of that or can run under a larger software. It's not like you have a package that is running under, so that you have the deliverables, but being run by instead of changing the whole system for the organization. Is it a possibility?
Your question is not saying clear, because there are two things I can deduce from your question. Number one, which is, can the organization buy a facility management software and runs it under his own name instead of running it under the brand name of the vendor, right? That's one question, right? So the answer is yes, depending on the vendor, right? So they call it white labeling. So you can ask the vendor that you are reviewing for the option of white labeling. That do they offer white labeling option? Not everybody offers white labeling option, but for those that offers white labeling, some offers semi-white label. That means it's not 100% white labeled, but some components of the application that are facing your customers may be white labeled, right? Where it will have your logo and your name, and the name of the product will not actually show up. And then, of course, you have to pay more for a white label deployment. And then you are saying something about the software working under another umbrella of another software, right? Which, that's the part I'm kind of confused. Because if you're talking about that, then you're talking about integration. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, I actually, yeah. What I was trying to say, just like you mentioned the white labeling, and then for it to even be a white label, it should be able to be adaptable to that original software. But it should not be in conflict. That's what I'm trying to say. Just like
yeah. So if you don't already have a facility management software in place, and you have other software within the organization that you are using, and you want facility management software to come in and not change what you are currently using, of course, all you just need to do is to make sure you are getting one that has capability to integrate, and you have vendors available that can help you integrate it seamlessly into what you currently have. And if you have it, if you do that, then information is going to flow from that system to the other system without any manual any manual intervention. So, but if you are going to change name, then you are talking about white labeling, which could be an option for some vendors.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, so any other, so I want to believe there's no other question, right? So let me just go straight. I'll use the next 15 to 20 minutes to just show you the interface of Instanta, because that's the only application I can use to develop. So I will show you the interface of Instanta, and I won't really do so much. I'll just show you the interface, and for you to have a feel of some reports you'll be able to generate, some analytics you can see, you know, the different features and some other things. So let's just go into it. If you have any question, you can still unmute yourself and ask me your question. All right, so let me just switch. Please give me a moment while I try to share the screen. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Is anybody asking a question? I want to quickly share my screen so that we can. Okay, please, can someone confirm if you can see my screen? Please, can anyone see my screen? Okay,
yes,
great.
showing login.
Yeah, okay. So this is like, you can see, I just typed down standard.facility.csf.com and it just opened up this. So any vendor that is giving you a web-based facility management software will also give you a URL. Just type that URL in your browser and to give you like this prompt. And user should have been created for you. So all you just need to do is to type in your user details and your password and login. And you have this interface. So this is like a request form for people that are not logged into the system. So if you have requesters that you don't want them to log in before they send request, you can just give them like a link, right? That will give them a form. This form can be customized, can be on your website, can be anywhere, can even be on the mobile app. They can just go in and just submit the request. So I know that Mr. Paul would have shown you a sample request form for coming from or requisition form. So it should contain details such as the categories of the job that they are requesting for. So it could be any form of category. You can create your own categories too. And you have some categories too. Like if you select electrical, where is electrical here? Electrical works, it will give you subcategories like wiring, lighting, you know, and some other things. Then you should be able to attach files. From a mobile app, you should be able to take a picture of the issue that you're trying to report or attach any file. So you can also attach a picture or attach a file. Problem type is something you can actually define. So for every organization, they can define their own type of problems based on the category of job. If you're saying electrical works, you can say maybe a burnt cable or something, or bad switch, or lights that are out. So you select your problem type, then type the description of the problem, then you put in your details. For a lot, because the user is not logged in, so you have to put in his full name, email address, and the phone number, then the location where he's reporting this. So is the building where this issue occurred, and so you can select the location. Then you can even pick out an asset from that particular location. So if this issue is related to a particular asset, right? You can pick out, like for example, you can see I'm picking out a Perkins generator here. So if it's related to an asset, you can just pick out the assets in that particular location. So this is how you can even create you can submit a request for maintenance or for any form of requisition for a work that needs to be done, right, on an asset or even in a location or a building, right? So it's very easy. Just fill in the form and click on send request. It's just submit the request. So this form can come in any form. For some clients, it's like a link on their website that they click on and gives them the form for them to fill. For some, it's on the mobile app. For some, is when they log into the application like Instant App and they see that form. Okay, so that's a basic work request form. So let me log into the application. So when you log into the application, it should give you. So this is our test environment, right? You can see different analytics and reports that you can have access to almost immediately. Then you have different. These are the menu. So you can see the menu on the left side. So you have the menu and the sub menu. The menu is where you can see things, work management. You can see work management. Where you have work requests, work orders, preventive maintenance, payment requisitions. You have settings for your facility management, like you have facility management, PPM settings, bulk notification. Bulk notification allows you to send bulk alerts to people via SMS or email to your facility users, right? Then you have visitors management module here, asset and inventory module. So you have your inventory, item request, item transfer. You have procurement for purchase order, good receipt, no payment requisitions, lease management. So I did mention property management. For those that also do those property management, which is different from facility management. Some application also has estate management or property management features. Instant also has this. So this is the interface and these are the menu. Then you can easily see jobs that are escalated to you that are waiting your approval. Let me accept this person in. Okay, so you can have different analytics. So here you can see work requests that are actually waiting for you. That you can see the sad faces saying you have jobs that you need to attend to. Right? Work orders, position. Then you can also see pending preventive maintenance. So preventive maintenance or routine maintenance that are due or close to the due date also appears here. So you can see we have 12 of those in here. And you can see your work order statistics or work request statistics based on status, right? So the ones that are new, open, quotation required, are waiting approval. Current work orders too based on status. The ones that are overdue, requisition pending, new, open. You can see all those ones in here. Same for payment requisitions, for payments that you need to pay to vendors or for POs and the rest. You can see all those in here. Also, here as you can see which of your service group, right? These are service categories are generating more work orders or work requests. So this will let you know the problematic areas. So here, electrical works is the problematic area because you have 35, while others we have 14, followed by HVAC. You can see in here. So you can also see age analysis of your work orders in here. So you have 64 work orders already 3 months, older than 3 months, and then you have only one that are less than 1 to 7 days. So just gives you an idea of your age analysis of your work orders and how efficient you are. And you have dashboards for SLA compliance. You can see it's telling 100%. Here, for example, you have 71% SLA compliance. The more the green bar, the better, right? Because it's showing that 71% of your jobs are completed within the SLA before the due date, right? In September 2020. Whereas in some months, like this month, 100% of them were completed outside the SLA. So that means your SLA performance is actually very poor in this month. Why it's better in this month, right? Average in this particular month. And here you can also see things like the cost of the, you can see the amount of money you're actually spending per month, on let me expand this. So you can see the amount of money, that is being spent every month, right? So you can see your cost, if it's increasing or reducing, you can see it from this graph, right? And the black part is your actual cost. So for people that are in facility management industry, right? When I mean that rendering facility management services to other clients, they want to track their margin. So basically, the black part is your cost, right? The amount of money you actually spend on rendering the service to your clients. While the green part is your margin, which is the cost to client is the full bar. So for this, the full bar is the cost to client is like 3 point something million, whereas the margin is the green part. The black part is the cost to the client. I mean your cost, your actual cost. And you can see work order ratings in here, and the percentage of repeated work orders. So here you can see. So for a good facility management software, it should allow your end users to rate the performance of job and also reopen a job if they are not happy with the job that was done. So here you can see the statistics on the percentage of the jobs that were returned because it was not done correctly. And you can also see work order ratings too, how happy people are. So what we notice is that most people will not rate a job, they will just ignore it, ignore the rating. But when they are extremely happy or extremely sad or angry, they are going to rate, they will rate the job. So that's where, and it's really important that you capture these happy moments and also the angry moments so that you can take advantage of it. All right, so that's the start dashboard. If you come here and click on the work request, you'll see all your requests that are coming in. It can also be available in a table view. So if you click on table view, you can see all the requests that are coming in. So it gives you things like the work request number, the date, how long it has been opened for, the requester's name. Here is Osagi Agege, the title of the job, the location where the job is to be performed, which person is the job currently on this table. You can see that here too. So is it account? Which manager is the job awaiting approval for? So if the job is on my table, you'll see that the job is actually on your table. Then you can see the preferred vendor. That means the vendor or the technician that is going to do this job. Then the amount and the total amount of the job and the status of the job. So basically, someone has not asked me what the difference between a work request and a work order. Basically, based on this application anyways, a work order is a request coming from a client. Sorry, a work request is a request coming from a client. It's a requisition for a work that needs to be done, right? Whereas a work order is a job that you've confirmed that you're going to do. So it has gone through, for a work order to become, for a work request to become a work order, it must have gone through a review or assessment, then an approval before it can turn to a work order. So that's the difference between a work request and a work order. So there are work requests that may be cancelled or may be rejected or something, or maybe not approved, and it should never become a work order. But as soon as the job becomes a work order, most likely that means that there's a go ahead to actually go ahead to do the job. Then here you can see the list of your work orders. So let me go back to request first. Search for, so here you can easily search for a request based on the request number or based on the asset type or anything. You can search using anything. So I just search for work request 501. Let me see, it doesn't have any quotation. Would love to pick a job that has a quotation. Let me do a quick filter. Quotation required. Okay, so I just picked the job. So let me minimize this guy, close this. So I just opened a work request. So let's just analyze this work request card, right? So in this work request card, you can see details of the request, right? The time it was submitted, the date, the category of job. This is like procurement of diesel, basically, as a work. Then you can see The details of the request are here. You can see the location where that this is going to be deposited to. Then you can see the approval. So this request was approved by Sami Essien, right? You can see he approved it. Then if there's any comment, you will see it here. Any comment on this job, on this request, you see it here. This was the quotation, the RFQ that was sent out. So this is the RFQ that was created. So RFQ was created for these two vendors, the supply of these 1,000 liters. And you can see these are the two vendors that this RFQ was sent to. And they both submitted a quotation. So they submitted a quotation, estimated price of 500,000, but one accepted to collect 450, while the other one 480. Right. So at the end of the day, the 480 guy was the preferred vendor. That's why it's green. It's a preferred vendor. And you can see this is the breakdown of each of them. So you can have breakdown for each of the vendors, right? Then you can, any final attachment will appear here, and the history of the job, who created this job, who approved it, all the actions happening on this job will appear here. This is just for auditory purpose, basically. So that's the anatomy of a work request, right? It's also similar to a work order. By the time I show you a work order. Okay, let me go back. Okay, so let's open a work order. For approvers, it can be multiple approval. It doesn't have to be one person that can approve a job. It can be multiple people. Then you have a work order. So approve, like I said, work orders are created in 3 different ways. Number one, a request that was approved will turn to a work order, or a work order that was created directly by a facility manager because he has seen the job and a corrective action that needs to be taken on a job. So you can just go ahead and create the work order directly without having to go through a request. Then the third way to create a work order is via PPM. So preventive maintenances are already approved jobs, so they can, on the due date, they can automatically turn to a work order. So these are the 3 ways a work order can be created or submitted on the system. So these are the lists of work orders on the system, and you can see all of them. You can use the table view. It has similar field. I won't spend so much time on this, but it has similar view as you can see the due date, the expected due date, right? So you can see how long it has. So it's this one is telling you that the SLA has passed by 17 hours, 57 minutes. So this job should have been completed 17 hours ago, and it's still open. So basically, this is a work order, and I can open anyone. So I can just open this one to view. Just tap on it, it can pop up the work order, and you can see all the details of the work order, right, in here. You can see who it was assigned to. It was assigned to this artisan, right? And you can see his email address and the contact person's name. For a work order, okay, there's something you need to see in a work order. Under items and requests in a work order, you can actually pick something directly from your inventory and use in a work order. So I can click on edit here. Let me edit this and go to the items, and items. So if I'm adding an item, I can check pick from warehouse, and I can pick an item directly from the warehouse. I can pick item 3-gang switch, pick the model, select the item. So the item will appear, and I can just pick in the quantity I need, and the price is going to show in here. So it automatically show me what the quantity I have in store. So I don't know if there's any particular thing I can use. Bulbs. So let's use bulbs. So lumen. So you can see it's showing me the quantity I have in store, which is 95, and I can just type in the quantity I need, maybe 60. Right. So you can see it's showing me the unit price, which is 350. So basically, this is how the work management is actually integrated into the inventory management. And when this job is approved or when it's updated, it will automatically take these items, create a transfer request, right, for store to just deduct those items from the store, and automatically. Then you can see you can add an asset directly to a work order. So just pick the asset and just add it in here. So if there's any asset added, you'll see it here. So for this one, there's no asset added. You can see the resources the vendor technically assigned to this job, basically. All right, so let me close it out. Then let's go back to the dashboard. So if you go to the start dashboard, you click on PPM. It will just show you a list of all the PPMs that I do. So you can see plumbing. Plumbing is not a PPM. This is a test environment. You may not see. So you can see, let's say, environmental sanitation. I don't know. HVAC services. That means AC servicing. You can see the last performed date and the due date. This is the due date for that particular maintenance. So basically, it appears here because the due date has actually passed. So this is how the BPM appears, and it can also send you an email on the due date or close to the due date to let you know that this is due for maintenance. So you can just click on that tab and you see all the maintenance that are due or close to the due date. And another thing you can see here is the BPM settings. So here is where you configure your BPM. So let me search for HVAC. So if I click on this HVAC, you can see the details. So basically, it's telling me that so this one is telling me that AC needs to be serviced every 3 months, quarterly, and notifying me 2 weeks before the due date. And it also tells me here that do I want to create a work order? Is here with this checkbox telling me that a work order will be automatically created on the due date, right? And then here is saying that do you want the work order to be created as approved or to be created as a new work order that will still require approval. So you have all these controls. And for the PPM, so you can set in all the tips or the safe activities that needs to be performed or the safety tips can be added as items in here. And all the assets that are involved in this maintenance can appear here. The facilities, that this work is going to be performed on, you can have it here. The items that will be required to do this job can appear here, and the maintenance history of this particular asset, of this particular PPM, will also appear in here. So basically, that is how preventive maintenance works. So it will automatically send you email alerts, even notification via mobile apps and other things. You will receive them when it's close to the due date. Then there's bulk notification. So bulk notification basically allows you to send bulk alerts to. Is there a question? Okay. So bulk notification allows you to send bulk alerts to your location. So I can pick this facility, like this admin building. I just type in the title of my message and come in here and just type in the message. I can type in my message here, and I can ask the system to send it via email and SMS. So any message I type here, like apologies for the power outage, and we are working to bring the power back, or communication is going to happen in the common in the gym area tomorrow by 10 a.m. Please stay away from that area. So you can have all these messages in here, and you can use this to communicate easily with your facility users. You can also copy people in that email, maybe the users of the application that needs to be copied. So that's bulk notification. I'm just briefly working. Then there's visitors management. So here are the visitors paths already created. So here you can see a visitor that is coming in. You can see the details of the visitor and the phone number of the visitor. So it's going to visit this particular person, who to meet. You can see who to meet. Require exit. So this person that is creating this visitors pass is saying that when this guy is also leaving, please ask him for an exit authorization. So which is yes here. And you can see the visit schedule when it's coming in. So the security guy at the gate will know if it's the right time that should be coming in. Yeah, you can see the remark, and you can also see any exit. So if there's an exit, so this is the history of this person the exit and entry history of this person, how when he has the number of times he has comes in and out of that particular facility, you can see it in here, like the visitor's history, right, will appear here. So that's the visitors management app, basically the module. Inventory basically will show you what you have in store. So you can have the asset register. Clicking there, you see all your assets to appear in here. You can see all your assets one after the other. You have a location of the asset. You can see them here. So this is like your asset register. Even you can have your consumables too. You can also you can perform item requests, right, from the store, and you can do asset transfer. These are transfers from one store to another store. I don't want to get into all this because of our time, but this is the inventory management part, which is already integrated into the work management module. Then you have the procurement part where you can see your purchase orders. So let's do it overview. So you can see all your purchase orders in here. The vendor, this is the vendor that it was created for. So this is a typical purchase order. I won't get into the details, but this is a typical purchase order. You can download it. Just click on this button, you can download the purchase order. It will download it on your system as a PDF. And you can also send it out directly to the vendor. Okay, which other thing do we want to see here? Okay, I think I will have to stop here. You can also make payment requisitions that goes to vendors, and payment requisition for vendors can be made in here too, which goes to accounts department for payment. So you can see this is a payment request for a vendor. So instead of having to create manual payment requests, you can just use your system for that. And you can also generate reports, right? So if I want to see all the work orders that were done all the jobs that were done in a particular facility within a month, I can just come in here and click on filter. I can pick the location, so I can say which building, NCDN. I can even pick a particular location within the building. I can use this date part to pick a date range, right? I can say between let's pick a range that we have data 1st of January to current date, 1st of July. And I can even filter based on status. So I want to see all the jobs that are actually closed for this period. And I can just click on filter. So you can see how easy it is for you to search for information on the system. And if it's a longer list, so let me uncheck this close. I want to see all the work orders that were created within that period. So I have 6 of them. I can download this, export this as Excel or PDF, and just click on PDF and click on export. It will download as PDF. And I can export this as a summary to give me more like a statistics of this report. So I'll need to stop here. This is not a training, it's for you to just have a feeling of the application. So please, if you have any question, you can ask me now and before we bring this to an end. Please, your questions.
Okay, I just want this a clarification. If, for example, if you are trying to carry out a maintenance maybe on multiple assets, and then you need to highlight each one of them as being worked upon. So does the facility, is there a facility for that in the software?
Yeah, you should be creating a work order per asset. I got your question. So you should be creating a work order per asset. But I know that there are instances where you are performing preventive maintenances, and maybe for some companies that have lots of, let's say ACs, for example, they have lots of ACs, and they want to perform maintenance on all the ACs in a particular facility, same day, in a particular building. I don't want to create work order for each of them separately, which is going to be so much job. So there's a facility system for you to just add all the assets and create that PPM for it, preventive maintenance, and create just one work order for all those assets. But apart from that, if it's for corrective maintenance, you have to perform those maintenances, corrective maintenances. You have to create a work order per asset. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So for the work order, you the assets tab, you can add the asset to it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Any other question before we bring this to a close?
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Mr. Shobanke.
Yes, on this software, do we need to input a kind of reserve value manually, or is auto committed? Kind of.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about depreciation part, right? In fact, the thing is, like I said, thank you for bringing this up. Depreciation is also it should be a feature in asset management, right? Which allows you to control your resale value and some other things. For us, for this particular application, our depreciation feature is currently being worked on, and it's going to be out maybe in the next 1 month or 2 months. We're already working on it for a client at the moment. But generally, one thing you need to also look out for in an asset in a facility management software is asset depreciation. So it will have things like your salvage value when it's been sold out. You have the resale value you're talking about, and the current value left on the assets. You have things like the number of years or months the asset has been deployed. All those information is going to be there, like the asset information is going to be in the depreciation card. So yes, it's important to have those information.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question, please?
Hello, sir. Yes,
yeah.
Yes, sir. I just want to clarify it. Based on the work requests aspect, is it that the customers, as the case may be, we have like the app on their device, right, to make the request, and then you can see it in the
backup, yes.
The backup, yeah.
It depends on your implementation, right?
Okay.
It depends on the requirement that you have, but you can decide to deploy a mobile app for your end users to use, to submit, to make comments, to even approve, to do a lot of things, to rate, to reopen work orders, to monitor the status of their work order. They can have a mobile app for that. But for some people, that may be an overkill. So if it's an overkill for you, you can actually create like a make a link available to them for them to just click on that link and submit their request to you.
Okay. All right, and then the requests, are they usually can it be summed up of you usually have you have to separate them? For example, a particular customer has requests based on AC, electrical, and maybe plumbing at the same time. Will it be separated, or it will be separated? It will be summed up together
to different technicians separately. So the thing is that when a requester is submitting a request and he has multiple requests, he has the facility to click on add additional requests. So you won't have to enter names again and everything. You can just type in the problem, select the job category, and just submit. So everything will be submitted together, but will be created as a separate request.
Okay. All right.
I have the same set of people are asking questions, and we have 35 or 29 people in this class. So I wonder why others are not asking questions. So is there any other question before I hand over this class back to Mr. Paul? Okay, I want to believe there's no other question. Mr. Paul, do you have any addition or anything you want to add to the class? Or
Mr. Paul is not on there, so you can just end the class.
Oh, okay, we can end the class. All right. So, guys, thank you very much. If you have more any information about or any question, maybe directly on our product, you can always find us online. Just Google Instanta, INST. So let me just share this.
I will have your number.
Yeah, I can also give them. But please, please mention the fact that you are from. So I will drop my details here. Please mention the fact that you are from this class, right? It's important, please. We have some special discounts package. I agreed with Mr. With Mr. Paul with Max-Migold. So if you want to take advantage of that, so please mention that you are from this class. So my name is Johnson. Johnson Owoye. Phone number 07039747709. So you can drop me a WhatsApp message on that number too. And my email address is here.
Please come again, sir.
So I'm dropping a message here. I'm dropping a message on the chat, so you'll see there. Okay, I just dropped my details in, on the chat, so you can get it from the chat. You can copy it up before you exit the class so that you can access it. Sorry about that. And you can also always reach us via Mr. Paul at any time. If you speak with Mr. Paul can always direct you to give you my details if you didn't write it down here. But always please mention that you are from this class. It's important. Okay. So, any other question? All right. In the case of any... Okay, Mr. Paul, you are here?
Mr. Paul is not here. Mr. Paul is not here.
Okay. We are using his account. Okay, all right. So,
all right, thank you very much, sir, for today's class. Really appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. So I'm taking my leave. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the class. Please, what do you think about the class? Is it interactive enough? Is it enjoyable enough?
It was educative. Thank you, sir.
You said what?
I said it was revealing.
Exactly.
You cannot add revealing.
It was revealing. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. I heard you now. Thank you.
All right, so maybe as a suggestion, you could it's just a lifetime anyway. Maybe you could have for subsequent classes for the links and then make a request and then we see how that pumps up on the this thing. Just as a demo anyway.
You can do that. The slides that I use in this class will be shared with Max-Migold, and they will be able to share it with you. All the slides that I used.
Okay.
Is that fine?
Yes, that'll be fine. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, guys. And it was nice meeting you. And thank you for your questions. Thank you for the good remark. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank
Bye.
you, sir. Bye. Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can I leave now? Yeah, you know, stipend. Paul, Alpha.
You are not meeting. Everything has to be 2 accounts. What is lobbying here? I just really, please, his leg is on the line. Thank you.